Okay, so now let's take a quick look at what Bitcoin is currently presenting to us at the moment. Very quick. So we can see that from this level here, we have this level of strong buy coming up here at around 88 to 74k level, right? 88 to 74k level, because we saw that consolidation here before we saw that strong move to the upside. Now we can see that price is currently revisiting that area here. You can see now, right? So does price continue going higher from here, or do we see a scenario where price comes back into that level? Okay, maybe take out all of this and they come back into that level and then does something like this, and then before we start seeing that move to the upside, right? So these are two scenarios I'm currently looking at the moment. You can see the first one is if price starts going up from here, while the second is price coming back, taking all of this, and then before we now start seeing a move to the upside. So this is what I'm actually looking for on the higher time frame level. It's always very important to know what your higher time frame level is doing in order for you to be able to get the context on how to manage the lower time frame level, or on how to go to the lower time frame level to take your trades. It always has to start from the higher time frame level. You need to first of all look for the daily demand or consolidation or strong buy or strong sell zones from the higher time frame level. Okay. So now let's continue into the lower time frame. Since we already know what we're looking for now, let's take all of this out, and then we go to the daily time frame now. Let's see how it's looking at on the daily time frame, and then in order for us to know what we're actually looking at. Now, if price is going to come back from that higher time frame that we said, if price is going to come back and take all of this out before it starts making its way to the upside, what do we need to see? That means from the higher time frame level, we need to start looking for a sell from that high, right, into this level. Okay, and in order for us to look for that sell, we need to look for a strong sell region around that level. And the only strong sell region we can see is currently at this point here. You can see there's a strong sell region here. So let's do this in black, so that in order for us not to misinterpret the different levels, right? You can see this one is in green and is on the weekly. So this is a daily time frame level and is on the daily. Okay. So if price is going to start making its way to the downside to take out all of this and maybe take all of this out and before it continues going higher, what we need to do is we need to look for a sell around this region here. Okay. So probably price has to make its way back into this region, right? Then we look for that sell and then write it down to this level here. And from here, we can now begin to start looking for what buy, because this is now back to the weekly level. All of this is the weekly level, if you remember. Okay, good. So now the short scenario or the sell scenario is to look for what? Is to look for sell at this point here. Okay, at this level of strong sell. Okay, hope it makes sense. Now, what about for buy? What do we need to see in order to be a buy now? At the moment, you can see that price is not really giving us any buy opportunity, unless if price comes back to this point and takes all of this out, and then we can start looking for buy. Okay, that is one point in order to start looking for buy. Another reason to start looking for buy is you can see that there's a level of strong sell here. So from here, let's say price just breaks out of here. It didn't give us a sell opportunity here, right? It just breaks out, right? That means this all of these strong sales here has been broken out. Then all we need to do now is if price starts returning back, all we need to do is start looking for a level of consolidation that led to that breakout, right? Then if price is returning back to that level of consolidation, what we need to do now is to start looking for what buy at somewhere around here now. That means this higher time frame level now, that's to tell you now that it is currently holding and price is beginning to trend to the upside. Okay, and so that is the scenario you need to look for in order to start looking for buy. I am just pointing out to you the different scenarios that will come into play and how I intend to what play them. So I've given you the buy scenario now, and I've also given you the sell scenario, right? I gave you the sell scenario here. So now going to the lower time frame now, in order to look for a lower time frame trade now, a small where I'm going to be risking a little bit lower, right? If price now, you can see that price is currently at this point. You can see currently at 92.9 here, right? So now, if price is going to make its way into this point here for us to now look for that sell, right? Then maybe I might be looking towards be a small buyer at this point. The reason is because if you look at it now from the 4 hour time frame, let's move into the 4 hour time frame now. Okay, if you look at it from the 4 hour time frame, you see that there was a, let's even take it to the daily time frame first. You see that there was a strong buy somewhere around this region here. Look at it clearly. Let's do this in blue for the let's do this in blue. Okay, why? Because you can see that there was an impulsive move from here, right? Impulsive move to the upside. Now price is coming back into that point. So if price is going to make its way into that strong sell region, right, I might be looking for what, a small sell around this point here, around this before the impulsive move, around this demand or strong buy region, but on the 4 hour time frame. So what do I need to do now, right? All I need to do is go to the 4 hour time frame or even the 1 hour time frame. So going into the 4 hour time frame now, you can see that price is currently consolidating around that point. Okay, this is the 4 hour consolidation point. Let's make it clear. Okay, you can see that price is consolidating around that point. This is the consolidation, right? Before we saw that move on the 1 hour, on the 1 day time frame, it's coming back to this point now. You can see. So if I'm going to be a small buyer at this point, whereby I want to see price move into that strong sell level that we've always talked about, right? Before we now want to start looking for price to trade back into the weekly demand back, right? So I hope you're connecting the pieces together, because that's how trading actually works. You need to start from the higher time frame, and you need to now learn how to begin to connect it into the lower time frame. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to look for a trigger at this point now, because remember that you don't just have to just take the buy because price is currently here. You need to look for the trigger. And remember what our trigger looks like. Our trigger looks like this. Let's say on the lower time frame, price is trending, right? And then we need to see a break of structure and then pull back into what, a demand that led to that break of structure. So let's say there was a small demand here that led to the break of structure, right? And this was the break of structure somewhere around here. This one here. Let's do this in, let's say, black. So this is exactly how it looks like, right? You can see price was currently initially trending to the downside. Then we had this market structure break. Then price pulled back into the demand. Maybe there was a demand here that led to that market structure break. Price pulled back there. And this is where you're going to take your what? Buy. This is the trigger to go long. And then you put your stop loss below. Okay? And then your take profits are ahead. So I usually go for a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, right? I'm just trying to keep it rigid. There's no need to expect price to definitely make it into that strong sell region. You can just go for a 2 to 1 risk to reward ratio so that you'll be able to, track your trades, so that you can take at least 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio of trades, maybe 20 times, and then you will know the outcomes. Does that make sense? So that's the reason why. So now what we want to do is go into, we can leave it on this 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour, or we can decide to go into 1 hour time frame. So let's take it to 1 hour time frame and see how it looks like on the 1 hour time frame. You can see the way I've been narrowing it down. So if you're not skilled at trading these lower time frame levels, you can decide to just wait. Okay, you can decide to wait for the higher time frame levels so that you can take your strong buy or strong sell from the higher time frame level. Right? So from the lower time frame level now, you can see what I'm actually waiting for now is for price, because you can see this strong sell down to this point, and then we've not really had a continuation. So I want to see price do something like this, right? Market structure break. You can see this is where we get the market structure break. Then there will be a demand that led a demand that led to that market structure break somewhere around here. Okay, then once we get that, then I can actually take the buy to the upside. Okay, so this is the strong buy. This is the trigger strong buy that will be leading me to take that trade to the upside, and then I put my stop loss below, I take profit above. Does that make sense? So we just have to wait for it. Trading is all about patience. As long as you know your system, all you need to do is wait for it to present itself, and then you take the trade. I hope that makes sense, guys. Yeah, so let's zoom out back to the higher time frame so that we know where we're coming from. You can see that this is the small demand where I'm looking to take a small buy into that strong sell region on the daily time frame, right? And then the reason why I'm taking a buy into that strong sell region is because I want to now take a sell from that strong sell region. Back into our, I want to take a strong sell from that strong sell, strong buy region into the strong sell region, right? Then from the strong sell region, I'm taking a word sell back into our what weekly demand. Okay, so this is the probability trade I'm actually waiting for. This is a more ideal probability trade, a sell back to this demand into this weekly demand. Okay, so if you want to take this lower time frame trade, I've given you what to look for in order to take the trigger, right? But it's a little bit of a on a lower probability trade. Okay, and then once it gets back to this point, then you want to wait for price to what to form that big higher time frame trade, right? Because now it carries a higher probability trade, right? It trends to the downside, market structure break into the demand, and then you take your buy, and then continuation up to the upside. Hope that's clear. And then from the higher time frame long, if we didn't get this scenario, what I'll be looking for too is for price to break this strong buy here, this strong sell rather here. Expect price to what break out of it. Once price has broken out of it again, then if it's retracing back, and I can now start looking for what a level where I'll be taking what the strong buy, the demand that led to that breakout. If price starts coming back to that level, what I'll be waiting for price to what give me a trigger to go long. Okay, so I don't necessarily need to take the long only from here. This is another scenario I'm waiting for in order to go long. I hope that's clear and it makes sense to you guys. Don't forget to like this video, okay? If you're actually enjoying content like this, like the video and share it. Click the subscribe button, and then I'll see you in the next.